Okay, example 3, another one with, it's going to 3x, right, b is odd, so it's going to be another one of these fractions. I'm going to go through this one a little bit quicker. First thing I do is move that over as I write on my paper. So x squared minus 3x plus 1 equals 0. That's always step 1. Descending order equal to 0. Step 2, I'm going to move the 1 to the other side. So I'm going to have x squared minus 3x equals negative 1. Leaving a gap there to allow myself to complete it in the square. I can't take half of 3, so I'm going to leave it as 3 halves. Notice I didn't write negative 3 halves, I just wrote 3 halves. I'm squaring this every time, it's always positive, so don't ever write minuses in that problem, in that part. If you write a minus, it's still going to end up being positive, but your chances of messing up are increased. So regardless of positive or negative value there, always make that a positive. So 3 over 2 squared, and that's value is 9/4, right? I need this to be something fourths, so negative 1 is how many fourths? Negative 4, right? So negative 4 fourths, same as negative 1. And again, I just scribble that out. Negative 1 is exactly what it's supposed to be, but negative 4 fourths is better because it has a common denominator happening. I'm going to factor. It's always a parentheses squared. It's always the square root and the square root and the sign. So x is the square root of that, 3 halves is the square root of that, and minus is the sign. On this side, negative 4 fourths plus 9 fourths is 5 fourths. Every problem that you do with completing the square gets to this step. Binomial squared equals number. Take the square off the binomial, square root the number. And again, I'm square rooting 5 fourths, so what it looks like is this. I'm doing square root of this and the square root of this, plus or minus goes in front of that. I cannot evaluate the square root of 5 so it stays underneath the radical. I can evaluate the square root of 40 equals 2. Alright, so again, the square root of 5 on top, the square root stops at the fraction bar, does not dip into the denominator. Square root of 4 on the bottom is evaluated exactly to 2. 3 halves moves over, what happens to 3 halves?
It's plus.
It becomes positive, sign changes, right? So positive 3 halves. And once again, we have a common denominator of 2, so the best answer is x equals 1 fraction bar. The top is positive 3 plus or minus the square root of 5 over the denominator of 2.